yo. Every Wednesday night, you better tune in tight. At 7 p.m. CST, we bring in that insight. Halas Hall Report, best podcast in the game. Stats and facts, you'll remember the name. Host Ken Dub got the knowledge on lock. Co-host Woody the Bear fan, talking all that talk. 3 Bear fans chilling, opinions on the side. We're here for the love, riding that Bear pride. Halas Hall, we break it down right. Join us on the journey from day to night. Blue and orange army taking over the scene. 2025's the year, know what we mean. Bear fans unite, it's our time to rise. Sunday mornings, pre-game vibes in the skies. Lions think they're fierce with Dan Campbell's call, but all that greed ain't gonna help them at all. Same old story, we know how it goes. They just can't compete, everybody knows. Minnesota Vikings always talking smack, but when it's game day, they ain't got the knack. Sitting on the couch while we're making a stand. Over here in Chi-Town, we're the best in the land. Halas Hall, we break it down right. Join us on the journey from day to night. Blue and orange army taking over the scene. 2025's the year, know what we mean. Bear fans unite, it's our time to rise. Sunday mornings, pre-game vibes in the skies. Packer fans yell blow pack blow, but can't see the truth. We're stealing the show. Rivalry heated, but we stay real cool. Halas Hall Report, yeah, that's the rule. With every episode, we build that hype. Stats and team news, we got the right type. Fan base strong, we ain't looking back. 2025, it's a winning attack. So gather round fans, put your hands in the air. Every Wednesday night, we're breathing that bear. Join the revolution, watch the magic unfold. Halas Hall Report, we're breaking the mold. Halas Hall, we break it down right. Join us on the journey from day to night. Blue and orange army taking over the scene. 2025's the year, know what we mean. Bear fans unite, it's our time to rise. Sunday mornings, pre-game vibes in the sky. So mark your calendars, don't miss a beat. Every Wednesday night, Halas Hall can't be beat. Stats, facts, team news on deck. Halas Hall Report, what did you expect? 2025, the Bears are here to stay. Blue and orange in the north leading the...
Good morning. Welcome to Halas Hall. These are the 2 guys that have very few opinions on anything. It's myself and Woody right now this morning. Maybe we'll get some broski or one of the mics. We'll start with saying, hey, good morning, Go Pack Go. It's good to see you on the other show. Finally put a face to the name. You know, I didn't get to hear you talk. Hey, the other Ken Ballrich. How you doing this morning, my friend?
How do we make these songs, Ken? You're a good fucking producer with these songs, dude. How do you do it? Can you cut it down to 2 minutes?
Well, no, I didn't make that one, but yeah, you know, that would be my
Mike did a good job.
Yeah, Mike did a good job with this one. Producer Mike did it. So trade secret there, Go Pack Go all day.
Morning slappies. Wow, are we a slappy, Ken? Did you slap me? Darcy, come over here. I'll slap you. But how you doing, Darcy?
Yeah, I get it. With the panel that big, with like 18,000 people on the show, gets hard. Oh, there we go. So
there we go.
Yeah, we got some of the pre-functionary comments out of the way this morning. You know, I love how we have a Bear show. We get every fan base here. It's great.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes.
What you wanted to start the day off, man? Let me just throw the mic over to you and get us started.
All right. All these Bears delusional. It's all over the NFL. If there's a guy that goes, you know, free agency, big name, he was good 3-4 years ago. The Bears want him on their team. Me and Ken were discussing before the show about, you know, between Nick Chubb and trading for Hendrickson, giving a 2nd-round pick or whatever. We differed in that. He said about the running back depth. I'm thinking we need another edge rusher depth because we only have 3. It'd be good to fluctuate them out. Running backs. I think honestly we have a good crew. I don't want any. They started using Roschon Johnson last year better with the 3rd and 1s and goal line. I'm happy with that. Yeah, if Swift goes down, he did great job with a crappy offensive line last year. I'm thinking we need another edge rusher before running back. What do you say in the comments? That's just my dilemma right now.
And here's my piece of that. For me, they're not mutually exclusive. So I'm all for signing Nick Chubb if they're getting him at $3 million, which is what the rumor mill tends to believe and what Spotrac thinks his value is. For this year, signing Chubb doesn't change the much. You don't have to restructure any deals. If you make the trade for Hendrickson for this year, you have to restructure a few deals for this year's contract. The extension piece is where it gets interesting, and you're going to have to restructure some deals, and you still got to sign Brisker. Now, look at if you can do both. But then here's the other question, and this is the one thing I didn't get to say earlier, because I kind of just thought of it. Hendrickson, don't even know if that's really a possibility. Is Cincy willing to trade him? Is the price point at a place that Poles would actually pull the trigger? So are they asking like for 2 first rounders? And we're like, yeah, no thanks. If it's a second rounder, I think we would do it.
Yep.
I think contractually we could give him what he wants, given his age, and come to an extension. But I think you could do him and Chubb. You just have to, in both cases, more because of Hendrickson than Chubb, you're going to have to move around contract money. You're going to have to do some restructuring, create cap room. And really, I'm not concerned because like every year we get the same thing. Oh, the Packers don't have money. The Vikings don't have money. The Lions don't have money. Yet every year they find a way to have money. Teams find a way to make that cap work. I don't think you have to do one or the other. I think you could do both if the trade is plausible, if there's a feasible trade to be had. I was surprised that it was Loveland, not that it was a tight end, and I've talked about that.
Yep. Bill, do you know I'm going out to Chicago and I'm going to kick your ass? It doesn't matter if I said this on the show, Friday? Resting starters means the whole fucking game. I don't care if Josh Jacobs, again, had -1 carries. He was still in the game. I don't care. It didn't really help anyway because you guys lost the next week.
And why are we talking about the Packers game last year at the end of the year when we're talking about players we're looking to add this year?
Because I said about resting starters and stuff. Whatever.
Tell us how games didn't matter, the games they lost, and when they win, they all matter. Don't care. We're looking towards the season and some guys that we still might add to this roster. I liked Hampton. I thought we would have got a second round, but he was gone before we came around in the second round.
I think he was
gone.
I would have took him before Genty. Honestly.
Yeah, Hampton was gone before the Bears got. Yep, there you go, GPG. Yeah, he was gone before the Bears got an opportunity. I liked Hampton. I would like to see the Bears draft him. I think a running back. I like Swift. I like Rojo. Mwangi I like because of what he did in college and 0 fumbles in college, straight up the middle kind of guy.
Shitty conference though, but you know me.
Yeah, there's that. I think there's something to work with there. For me, Travis Homer is not a bad back, but he's more of a special teams guy. And I like Wheeler. Yeah, like every other fan, the heartstrings pull. You like the kid. He showed some capability before he got injured, but I don't know if he's going to translate to the NFL as far as a back we can count on consistently. I think his role may end up being more of a special teams kind of guy. I mean, look at if let's say we sign Chubb and he's 50 to 75% of what he was, that's what we need, right? I mean, that's what we need as far as a running back. He doesn't have. He's not. Look, we're not. If we sign Chubb, he's not coming in to be RB1. Right, especially with this system that Ben Johnson. It's a 2 running back system, but you figure he's going to split time with Rojo because they're the same type of runner. I don't need him every down, which is going to extend his playing life, which might be good for him because now, if you think about, especially later in the season, he's healthy. Maybe he breaks off more biggies, right? It might prolong his career a little bit. Someone said to me the other day, he's like the Frank Gore of this generation. Maybe he is. He hasn't proven that yet, but I don't need him to be RB1. I need him to be split in time, and if he's even half to 3/4 of what he was, then he helps this team.
But you don't know how he's going to be after an injury. that he just had. Like, even if he's below that, I mean, it's going to be a bad choice. It's just me.
That's
I
what
don't.
he's.
I wouldn't sign a player that just had a major injury on a different team and sign him the next year.
He's low risk, high reward though, as far as the money aspect. As far as the roster spot, I get what you're saying.
Well, how do you expect? Well, I know how to spell, but I can do that. Oh, Bill, and when I go out there, Jody wants special Wisconsin edibles.
No edibles.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, the old line, I have a wait and see approach. I mean, they invested heavily financially into it. So I mean, there's been another year of lots of big changes. Last year, the hype train ran away, and it started well. 4-2 were like, okay, wow, there's something to this, and then like I
Hail
said,
Mary.
They found new and interesting ways to lose games last year. God, Bill's not giving autographs.
Oh man, he's the best. No edibles.
Jesus. I'm cautiously optimistic when it comes to the O-line. But look, I think if you had Chubb and he's healthy, then that helps it. I think, Loveland, I get why Go Pack Go doesn't like the Loveland pick. I think if he went tight end, I think he was thinking, well, maybe not Loveland, but the other guy. Warren, yeah. But I think Loveland fits Ben Johnson more. It's one of those.
They say Loveland's the better receiving tight end. If you look at his Warren's stats from last year, it seems like that's the only Penn State offensive player they had. Go ahead, take a look at his stats last year on Penn State. But they say that Tyler Warren's the better all-around tight end, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how that works out. I think that, once again, Ben Johnson likes to run two tight ends, like he likes to run two backs. I think he fits. I think it's one of those the Bears drafted for scheme and how he would fit the system versus he's the best tight end in the country from college. I think it's lost on people when we look at the draft because we look at guys. Oh my God, this wide receiver is so good, but maybe you can get a really good receiver who doesn't fit your system, and so you don't get the impact. If you could draft a lesser receiver by draft standards and get a higher impact because he actually fits your system. And yeah, I would agree with this comment right here, Woody. I think you would too.
Well, all I have to say is we'll see. We had coordinators be head coaches, Matt Nagy, that sucked. So
Nagy
hopefully,
wasn't bad though in year one. In year two, he was okay, but by year three, it was like he got stale. It's like it was almost like he had cement shoes on and refused to move. Like he just stopped innovating. He stopped, like, either the league figured him out or he stopped trying to change.
What was the first time we had a head coach come to us and he brought a couple head coaches with him? When was the last time that ever happened?
This coaching staff is kind of ridiculous. The enemy's the running backs coach. We've got the JMO Whisperer is now our wide receiver coach, Randall Antoine L. We got a good DC, and that was my thing with if we were going to get an offensive-minded head coach, I wanted to make sure we hired a good DC, and we've hired a proven good DC. So right now I'm happy. But I remind us of a different situation where we had Lovie Smith, great defensive head coach, and we're like, okay, he needs a good OC. And he goes out and gets Mike Martz, who's the architect of the greatest show on turf. Everyone said, hey, Mike Martz was a great OC, greatest show on turf. Look at all that. And when Mike Martz came to Chicago, he fell flat. His offense didn't work here. So I just hope, this isn't that situation defensively, that the defense works, that the DC works. It's a hard thing. And then here's the problem. When you do get it to work, what happens? You lose your DC because someone's going to snag him up for a head coach, and now you got to find another one.
So we hope they have mediocre coaches.
Yeah,
So
you
nobody
know,
wants
you want to be successful, just not overly successful, right?
Yeah, right.
Can the offensive line protect Caleb? Can the offensive line create gaps for running backs? Will the wide receivers have more chemistry with Caleb? All three phenomenal questions from Go Pack Go. I
Mm.
really, I mean, it's not. Let me look at the second question because I think that one there's a point missing to that. It's not creating the gaps for the running back. It is for running down the middle, but can they steal the edge for Swift? Because that's when Swift is dangerous. If they can get him outside, right, and steal the edge, that's where Swift can kill teams and be a game wrecker. They couldn't really do that last year. We saw them do it once or twice, and at the times they did do it, Swift broke off massive runs. Good questions, and the chemistry with Caleb. I think in year two, you'd assume, Woody, that gets better.
Well,
the chemistry would be better.
I say on paper right now, our offensive line's better. So that's all we can say right now. We'll see when it comes to. I just want to stay healthy for training camp and preseason. Then we'll know.
And really, week 1 and week 2, big games in the division. But my God, it's still like preseason because the starters don't play at all. I think week 1's a bigger test than week 2 in terms of the Vikings have been more stable in terms of coaches, right? They haven't had the turnover. They've got the quarterback, but JJ really just has to game manage, and if he does that as a quarterback, he'll be fine in Minnesota. So they're the team in the first couple games with the least amount of turnover or issues going on. That would be detractors. So that's going to be a tough game. But it's week 1. Everything is going to be so sloppy.
Right. And it's a Monday night game, so we got to wait. Oh,
yeah,
for me, I have 2 things that are biggest question mark. Offensive line, and this might be a surprise, but I'm going to say it. The new coaching. Those are the biggest questions for me on this team.
Yeah, I agree. I think I wait with bated anticipation. Is the O-line going to work as advertised? Is it going to provide the protection? And if it's doing so, there are people expecting massive things out of this offense. And why wouldn't you with the weaponry that they've assembled on this team? You look at this Bears offense. Look, if you cut Cole Kmet, would he be signed by another team starting in this league within a week? Probably. If you were to cut DJ Moore, he'd be snatched up quick. If you were to cut Roma Dunze, he'd be snatched up quick. If you were to cut Swift, he'd be signed quick. They got weapons all over the place. I mean, you expect this offense, it's got so much weaponry. People are expecting big things, but it goes to what Woody said. If it's the offensive line, and then do they take to the scheme? I agree with that, Woody. I mean, I think that's what I think with Bears fans in general, that's what we're looking for. How good is this offensive line going to be? And how are the coaching changes going to be? Not just offensively, because we've been looking at the offense, but how's Green going to do with the defense? How's this new DC? Can he revive this defense that fell off the map after we fired Eberflush?
You say Dennis Green. Dennis Allen.
Dennis Allen.
Yeah, I just want to go. I just want to go a season like Go Pack Go ask that question. One of the biggest questions, and we say O-line. I want to go by one season and say, you know what, our question is our defense, offensive line and quarterback are good to go.
Yeah.
So.
But then, is Dennis Allen? How's he going to do with that defense? Is actually a little bit of a question for me because they started out the year really good last year. I mean, hell, they won us a couple games. Then they were on the field so much they started to kind of get that fatigue, and then once Eberflush got fired, they really just kind of dropped off. Can they resurrect that defense and create pressure like week 1? If they don't pressure McCarthy, McCarthy will have time to just be a plug and play quarterback, and he'll make plays.
Because I see, because we mentioned this before, Poles does good with undrafted free agents. I like these 2 safeties, Major and one Oregon and one from LSU, because we don't know. We're not sure about Brisker. I hope Brisker works out, but we have 2 of these guys that undrafted that I'm interested in seeing how they play.
I'm interested to see how the defense does in general. Is Dale the guy they think he is? Because they paid him the $8 million based off what they project him to be, not what he was. They're doing that Billy Beaning ball, using analytics and all that good stuff. If Dale proves out, that's great. But like Woody said, we still need another edge rusher.
Like we need one more. We have 3. We need one more.
And I think there's going to be more emphasis placed on the linebacker this year. Looking at the linebackers, we might have to do some upgrading there too. Oh yeah, I think we both agree with that. McCarthy hasn't played a game yet. But if we don't put pressure on him, and he just has to be a paint by numbers quarterback like Ginger Jesus was last year for them. I mean, look, if he can be Kyle Orton in week 1, and we don't put pressure on him, and he just puts the ball where it's supposed to be, throws it away if it's not there. If he does that and does not try to force things, he'll have success against many teams in this league, not just the Bears. So we got to put pressure on him week 1, or you already know, Vikings fans, if the Bears will put pressure on McCarthy week 1, and he's able just to be a good system quarterback and doesn't have to play hero ball, and they win that game, Vikings fans are going to talk about the next coming of Christ and everything else.
Yeah, like Vikings fans, hey, Sam Darnold did. All you had to do is be good. He did great last year, my opinion. Yeah. And they think JJ McCarthy is a savior. He didn't even play a snap yet. That sounds like the Bears fans when we drafted Caleb Williams. Oh, our problems are solved. No, absolutely not.
I mean, JJ did beat McCarthy. He did beat him out to be the starter before he got hurt. Once again, with that offense and that coaching they've got there, they don't ask him to do much. Just put the ball where we tell you. And if it's not there, throw it away. And if he does that and does not try to force things and does not try to create things that aren't there, he will be successful in that offense. He doesn't have to.
And he's a mobile quarterback. If you go back to his college years,
he's a little mobile.
Yep.
He's not Justin Fields mobile, but he's mobile.
Oh no! I don't think anybody was like that. I'm in Lamar.
Him and Lamar, and that's about it. But no, I mean, so for the Bears, I really want to see that offensive line, what it looks like. And here's the thing. I'm going to try my best, Woody, to reserve judgment till the bye week, really. Because the first 4 or 5 games, the first 4 games before we get the bye, like the first 3, it might as well still be preseason. And then by the 4th game, we should start to see what we really got. And unfortunately, we get the bye so darn early. I mean, last time we had the bye that early, we won the division. But I'm just like, by week 6, we should start to know. We should see for sure. It's that offensive line and what the running back situation is. I'm not concerned. Like, if the offensive line's working, I'm not worried about Caleb, because Caleb showed last year. You give him time, he's not going to turn the ball over, right? He's like any other good quarterback in this league. You give him time, he's not going to turn it over. He will find the open guy. And with all the weapons he has to throw to, if they're doing their job, the sack numbers should be way down. The production should be way up. I'm more concerned about the running back situation. Like, can we effectively run the ball with this O-line? Like, to me, that's where it starts. And if you can effectively run, then you can effectively throw.
They do more play action.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not sure about his arm strength either, to be honest with you. But really, he doesn't have to do much with that offense the way they're set up. And really, Caleb shouldn't have to be Superman either. Caleb should be able to just sit in the pocket and throw. He did some Superman kind of things last year, and he has the capability of doing it. Look at his turnover ratio last year was great. So he can play Superman ball and not turn it over. But I assume that we're going to see a few more interceptions thrown by Caleb this year, because I think they're going to try to push the ball more. And that might create some more opportunities early on, especially, on those deep balls for some interceptions. Yeah. Look, I think we all saw last year the move from Justin to Caleb was justified. I think we saw that on the field. I don't know. What do you think, Woody? I know you're not a big Caleb fan, but would you say that the move was justified to go from Justin to Caleb?
Well, yeah, but they're two different quarterbacks. I mean, Justin Fields made some opportunities, and if he didn't have it, he ran. and he was pretty successful. Caleb Williams, when he's more of a pocket passer, we've seen him scramble, first downs and stuff like that, but he's more of a pocket passer, and he just didn't have time. And then there's some throws that when he had time, made his rookie mistakes, would overthrow the receivers, but he had some great throws. And that Thanksgiving day against Detroit, that throw to DJ Moore to tie it up was probably I think the best throw that he had. It was just a dime. So they're two different quarterbacks, but quarterbacks are made to pass. Obviously, Caleb had, over 3,800 yards, so his stats were better than Justin Fields. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing I liked about Caleb, and I said it early on, is always looking to throw the ball. He wasn't just tuck and run; he was looking downfield to make plays. And early on, though, he had a hard time just getting rid of it when he should get rid of it. But he improved on that as the season went on, when they just throw the ball away.
That was Justin's major problem too. Yeah. He didn't throw the ball away.
So I'll be interested to see what his progression is like under Ben Johnson. I mean, look what Ben Johnson did to Goff. I mean, imagine what he's going to do with a quarterback who I think has more talent than Goff at base level. It'll be interesting to see what he does with Caleb. I look at Matt LaFleur with the Packers, and I look at him as a head coach and go, there's a head coach who puts his team, even when they don't have the best talent, he makes them look a lot better than they are because he puts them in good positions to succeed. That's what I hope Ben Johnson can do in Chicago, because Green Bay doesn't have a lot of super talent. They have a lot of very good football players, but they don't have a lot. You're not going to look at the Packer offense and say, you look at that roster on offense and weapons, besides Josh Jacobs and maybe Jordan Love, who still has some stuff to prove, you're not going, I'd sign all those guys. He puts his guys in position to succeed. And that's where the Bears coaching staffs have really failed the last 10 years or so. I am just hoping Ben Johnson puts this offense in position like LaFleur does for his team to succeed. And if he can do that, be like LaFleur in that matter, I think this division is just going to be total chaos because all the teams are really good. And that you could see this Bears offense just blossom into something we haven't seen since Cutler had Adam Gase as the OC that 1 year. What was that? They were second in the NFL in total offense, even though we had the worst defense that year. I think you could see an offense like that, Woody.
Yeah. I just want more points on the first drive this year, like previous, not last year, but the season before.
I agree, Brent. I think both tight ends. I think the difference though between what Ben had in Detroit and what he has in Chicago, he's got two really good tight ends. Like it's not just Laporta. No, now he's got Kmet and he's got Loveland, and both of them are great weapons. I think both are going to eat, which will make Bears fans happy for Kmet, because I think we've been frustrated not at Kmet, but we've been frustrated at the Bears for not using Kmet. Does that make sense, Woody?
Yeah. In Detroit, though, Goff's success. Goff's not. If he's not a runner, we all know that. Right. His success is that offensive line, best offensive line in our division, I think. Yeah. So if you put any quarterback on that offense with Detroit, if you put Caleb there, he would have had a great year as well. So offensive line makes our offense better, obviously.
The stats there that GoPack threw up there, 17 forced fumbles, 11 picks, 40 sacks. They're decent, I agree, but most of that came in the front half. The Packers had a great showing last year defensively. They got better as the season went on, and the Bears got worse as the season went on. So I like to see some improvement for us.
Our defense. I want to see less 3 and outs because it tires our defense out. That's just it.
So I mean, for me, Allen's got to ratchet that defense back up. But Brent, I think I like what you said though about Loveland. I think, like I said, for Bears fans, we're hoping this is the year that Cole Kmet, we use him, because when we've seen the Bears use Kmet, I don't think it's always been good things have happened. Like he's been a solid tight end. He's a play creator, and they've wasted him. And now that Ben, if he can put this offense in a good position to actually succeed, like LaFleur does, you can only imagine what he's going to get out of this offense.
Hopefully touchdowns, not field goals.
Yeah, no more field goals. Oh, speaking of field goals, what do you think of Kim? You think Kim pushes Santos out of a job?
I would think they would have a contest at practice. See who kicks more 50-yard field goals, and whoever wins gets the job. That's our big. That's our big thing as well. Is that if we get down to like the 35-yard line and a 50-yard field goal, the offense is thinking about it. What should we do? Punt or what? Santos is clutch.
Well, look at week 2 last year, right? We lose week 2 to the Texans. Hey, good morning, Yoli.
Yoli.
We lose week 2 because they had a field goal kicker that knocked out 3 field goals from 55 yards plus. When we were in that situation, we would have to punt, and they were putting points on the board. That's why we lose to the Texans in week 2, really. That's the story of that game is the field goal kicking, and we couldn't kick them long, and they could. And I love Santos, 48 and below, automatic. But once you get the 49, 50, he gets they come in a little low. He's more subject to being blocked. He can hit the 53-yarder. We've seen it, but he doesn't hit the 50, 55. I think his career long is a 54.
Yep.
So he can't go that long. You're restricted. If Kim can be accurate from 50 and below and still knock in a 55 or a 60-yarder with relative accuracy, 75% even, I think is good in this league at that distance, maybe even 50%, he might take Santos's job.
And that Green Bay game, low kick, that was blocked too. 2 weeks in a row, we had a Minnesota game too.
Yeah. And that's Santos's problem. His trajectory was
here we go with the doinks. Here we fucking go.
Let's go back to 2018. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, my God.
So, I mean, but, that's kind of a good thing. If the big position battle for the Bears this year is field goal kicker, that means we've done some other things right. Like, I don't know what the other big position battles are on this team this year. I think the receiving core is set. The tight end core is set. The running back room is at right now. You've got who your 1-2 is. Maybe it's not set between who's 3 and who's 4. There's a 7th rounder or a guy like Homer or Wheeler. Where those 3 go. But I think your starters are pretty much set across the board in Chicago. Where your biggest position battle might be field goal kicker
or safety.
The safety.
It depends on Brisker. See how healthy he is.
Well, he says he's 100% healthy. If Brisker is healthy, then there's no position battle. Brisker will be the starter. Stevenson will be in that mix. So yeah, I mean, it's the second tier that where the position battles. As far as starters, the only real position battle we have is field goal kicker. Yeah, Joe, that's what I was saying earlier. That's what I'm looking at for the line, how we run the ball this year compared to last year. The NFC North overall had good defenses. I'm not saying the Bears' defense wasn't good. It just, after we fired Eberflush, the defense kind of fell off last year. I don't know, Woody. What I mean, when we get to camp, because OTAs are just glorified photo ops for journalists, it seems. What are you looking for? As far as between now and the start of season, like I know you want an edge rusher. If we could add a solid running back, I think that'd be good too. But what else are you looking for? What else do you need to see out of this Bears team to give you a more of a warm fuzzy going into the season?
My question on defense is they did sign TJ Edwards, extended him. I want to see if this puts a fire in Tremaine Edmonds' ass because he might not be on the team next year. Who knows? He had some interceptions here and there, but he's not up like he was in Buffalo. So I would like to see Tremaine Edmonds step on it and make some plays here because I think he's on a little bit of the hot seat on
Would
defense.
you say though Woody's on the hot seat because I think their contracts are inverse stat wise, right? Is he on the hot seat because of the compensation he's been receiving?
Yeah.
I think as a duo, they're a great pair, but I think the pay has been reversed. It should be the other way around. So
right, yep.
I mean, do you think that maybe doesn't he get the massive payday he had before, but stays in Chicago at a lesser rate because we like him as a player, but it's like, dude, I can't pay you more than your mate who's putting up a lot better numbers than you, but the two of you together are really good. How do you justify paying him more?
I just don't know. I was very, very shocked that TJ got what he got, and Jermaine's just like laughing, like, hey, but on the back of his head saying, hey, I better step up. So.
And of course, we got the third linebacker slots a little bit open. Actually, that one is a little bit open. That is going to be a position battle at camp right now. Go Pack Go says, can the NFC North teams beat the Eagles and the Commanders? I think the answer to that is yes. I think we can beat any team. I think this division, all four teams have the capability of beating any team on the schedule. And I said this last year when I looked at the schedules. There aren't any games on any of these teams of the schedule in the North where I go, yeah, they're going to get wiped. Like we're going to be competitive in all the games. I think we have some tough games. Like, is Baltimore an easy game? Hell no. That's a really hard game for all of our teams. But are all four teams in the North capable of beating the Ravens? Yeah, I think so. Are all four teams capable of beating the Eagles? Yeah. The Commanders for sure. Remember, the Commanders beat the Bears on a Hail freaking Mary, a total luck play last year. The Bears won that game. It took a luck play for them to win. So, yeah, I think NFC North teams can compete against NFC East and AFC North. And I think those fan bases are looking at their schedule going, crap, we got to hit the NFC North. Just like we're saying, crap, we got to hit the NFC East and the AFC North. I think they're saying the same thing about us. What do you think, Woody?
I know what Eagles fans are saying. Fuck them. That's going to be I don't remember the last time, geez, we beat Philly in Philly. They're just tough. On a Black Friday in Philly. Last time I went there, they lost 55-10 on a Sunday night game. I think obviously the Eagles are going to be the toughest game that we have. Washington, does Jaden Daniels, still have his successful season? Cowboys, I'll be there week 3. Is Pickens the answer? They still have no running game, but they still have Micah Parsons. And Giants I'm thinking they have the number 1 defensive line in the league. So that's why they play the games on Sunday. We never know.
Yeah, I think as a Bears fan, I've got some things to be optimistic about, because of the changes. Like I said, for Ben Johnson, I don't know what success looks like for us this year. Maybe 9 wins or a playoff appearance. That would be successful. I don't think he has to reinvent the wheel when it comes in terms of Chicago. I think he just needs to do what Matt LaFleur does in Green Bay. Put this team in a position to succeed. Call the right plays to the strengths of this team. And I love his answer when they first talked to him about the playbook. And he said, look, I'm going to design the playbook based on Caleb and based on what we have on this team. I'm not going to use the playbook I had in Detroit. It was a different team with different players with different capabilities. I like that he's designing a playbook with these players in mind. So it'll be interesting to see how good of an offensive mind he really is now that he has to create a new playbook for a different set of players and how well that translates. If he can just do what Matt LaFleur is not like. He wasn't like. Remember when LaFleur got hired? Everyone was like, "What the hell?" The guy wasn't even that great of an OC. But look what he's done in Green Bay. I have to give LaFleur credit. He's put them in position to win. He's
Very good
taken a
coach.
mediocre football team that never really gets star power come the draft. They don't get the big blue chippers. They get a lot of middle of the road solid guys, and he makes them really good because of a coach. Like Jordan Love is not a phenomenal lights out quarterback. He was drafted at the very end of the first round. When he was drafted, had to sit for years, but he makes Jordan Love look good. You know, so what can Ben Johnson replicate that in Chicago to a degree?
We'll find out.
We'll find out. Well, I mean, okay, yeah, sure. But ask yourself this question though. Does Green Bay have the record they have since he's been head coach? If anyone else is a head coach there with the player personnel they got? I think he will be right higher.
Yeah, he brought the youngest team ever to win a playoff game.
Yeah.
Must be done something right.
He puts his team in position. He may be conservative at times, but he also knows his limitations.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to give Green Bay credit there. I hate to give him credit, but we have to give him credit. Look,
Matt
LaFleur
is a great coach. I respect him. Absolutely.
He was great. And like for him, he's got questions right now. Is Jordan Love really the guy? When you look at Jordan Love, he's had really one half of one season that was really good, and the rest is kind of a mixed bag. And so this is a big year for them. They finally go out and do something they haven't done in over 2 decades, draft a receiver in the first round. They've got a good running back. They've got a pretty decent O-line. You know, what's Love going to do? What are they going to do this year? I think they're going to be a pretty good team. You know, the thing with the Packers, and I know you being a Packer fan, and you know, you're not like Rob and some of those guys. I mean, you guys knew their head coach pretty damn well. That kind of helped. It's kind of like San Francisco and Green Bay. You just had Dallas's number. Like San Francisco had your number. So, but yeah.
I don't know about the Niners though, because they signed Kittle, $76 million. Ayuk doesn't want to be there. Christian McCaffrey's coming off a big injury. They lose Jordan Mason to to Minnesota.
They gave Purdy an extension.
Yeah, I'm like, their defense better step up or they're going to have a bad year because they have really no weapons besides McCaffrey and Kittle, honestly.
I get the Purdy extension. You know, look, he's a good starting quarterback in this league. Going rate, I get it. You know, I mean, all these quarterback contracts make me shake my head. It's only going to make me wonder what's Caleb's going to look like if he gets a second contract in Chicago. It's just, San Francisco's a weird enigma, and for them to overtake the Rams, who add Devontae Adams,
Rams are going to be
Stafford at quarterback. I mean, you gave Stafford a legit receiver, and they already have Puka. Yeah, he loses Cup, but he gets Devontae. I like the Rams in that division. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, you know what though? I mean, you know, here's the thing though. On the morning show. Unfortunately, last year we spent a whole day on the jock tax. Florida does have the jock tax, so they do pay income tax in Florida for the jock tax. But I get what you're saying. You know, it's like Albert Pujols. He went to the Angels versus coming to the Marlins. I mean, the contract with the Marlins, you would have figured that the same dollar amount would have been more lucrative because of taxes. But they all pay the jock tax. And that's one thing fans don't understand. And while it made for a very dry show, and one of your fellow Packer fans, Isaac, who's an IRS guy, got to shine that day, they do pay taxes. But yeah, their tax in Florida would be less than in Cali. But look, if you go to LA, you got there's so many other things you get for being in LA, like endorsements. that maybe you don't get in a place like Miami or Tampa. Access to Hollywood, those types of things. So yeah, I mean, there's reasons for that, but the jock tax, man. And here's a funny thing. So let's say you play, not to get too much into it because we don't have that much time and I want to bore you to death, but let's say you play for the Buccaneers and you go to Chicago week whatever. You pay taxes in Chicago for that game check. So whatever state you play in, you're paying taxes in that state for that game. And it's not just the players, your staff, your coaches, everyone who goes to that away game pays taxes in that state.
Is that why players want more money?
Some of that maybe, yeah. But it gets ridiculous. My wife, when she worked for ADP, like these basketball players, dude, you should see their taxes. They play in so many different states. These guys file their taxes like almost monthly just to keep up with it. It's pretty wild.
ADP is a good app. That's who I go through for my job. Very good app.
It's pretty wild. I don't know. I like Florida weather better than Southern California weather. But that's
no. Fucking keep that hot shit over there and down there, please.
I don't get the humidity here, but yeah, the jock tax.
Oh my God.
Guys, I suggest you take a look at it and do some reading on it. I don't want to bore you with the whole show, but it's some dry reading, but you'll learn something. It's very interesting. The players actually, their taxes, they're the most heavily taxed people in a community more times than not because of the jock taxes. Even in Florida, where they don't pay state income tax, they still pay a jock tax in the state of Florida. So the state of Florida is taking in income, tax-based revenue, which is interesting. I guess we could talk about this for a brief minute. We got about 14 minutes. What do you think about this? The stadium. I mean, we've owned this for, 2 years? And they still haven't decided where they're going to build 2 years after they buy Arlington. But it looks like it might be Arlington. What do you think?
I'll say it again. I talked to one of the builders. He came into my dealership a couple months ago, and he's one of the builders that are a big build contractor in Chicago. And he heard that the only thing that's mentioned about Arlington Heights because it's leverage with the city of Chicago. So he was thinking most likely it'd be right next door where it's at now.
I think
that's what he told me.
Honestly, Woody, I get what that guy said, but that was also a couple months ago, and the landscape changed. Arlington changed its position on the taxes. They became a lot more team friendly. They offered to do a lot more. I get the leverage part 100% because they own the property, right? They'll own the stadium. They're not beholden to the city of Chicago. If they do it, now is great leverage. I think at the end of the day, that leverage is becoming the answer. Like, for me personally, I want them in Arlington. Why? Because the team owns the land. They own the stadium. They're going to generate revenue off of so much there between WrestleManias and monster truck pulls and concerts and whatever else, Final Fours, all that kind of good stuff. Plus, they're going to do that whole football village. So there's going to be the shops, the hotels. I think it's a win-win. And really, the city of Chicago doesn't really lose. Cook County, still going to be in Cook County, so the county's going to win either way. The city's still going to get tourism based off the Bears. They're going to just lose those game day checks. So I think it's a much better. The new stadium, no matter where they build, it's going to be better than the old one. But I think that that being in Arlington Heights is a plus, and it's going to be an indoor. It's going to be an indoor. We've already seen the mock-ups of it. Go Pack. It's going to be. All the teams now in the NFL are building dome stadiums. Why? Well, one, they can use natural grass in them now, whereas before they really couldn't. But now look at Allegiant. That's a natural grass playing field for the Raiders. They have these systems now where they bring in the grass for every game. So that's the other. And two, because of that, now they can do things like host wrestling, host basketball, host all these other things they couldn't do before in open air stadiums. And weather becomes a less of a negative impact on the game. Now they can host a Super Bowl. Why? Because the playing conditions are going to be perfect.
Well, I'm going to ask Go Pack Go this because I heard that. Well, first of all, where in Wisconsin, I don't know. I haven't been there. They would build a new stadium, But if they would go to regular seats instead of bench seats, they're going to be losing about 10,000 seats.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the Bill Stadium I think might be open air still, but Cleveland's going to a dome with their new stadium, right? I think Jacksonville is staying open air, but it's Florida. Green Bay will I don't think it's like the Cubs moving out of Wrigley. It's never going to happen. I agree though. Yeah, I don't know if they get more people in because it's the type of scene they have, but at some point, Green Bay is going to feel some pressure to do something with that stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Who was it who called it the worst playing field surface in the league? It wasn't Brisker. It was Kyle Gordon. Kyle Gordon said it's the worst field in the league that's basically just a mud pit when it rains. That's what he said about Green Bay.
So I guess he didn't ever play at the Vet or Soldier Field's old grass.
He said Soldier Field's has gotten much better since he got there, but he hated. I forgot what podcast is in, but the quote was Green Bay had the worst playing conditions in the NFL, which is interesting. But all these indoor stadiums are going to natural grass; they're not all artificial. Look at the Death Star. Allegiant is natural grass. The college team that plays there plays on turf. The Raiders play on natural grass, which is interesting. Yeah, kind of it'd be a trade system, I believe, Brent. That's what they're talking about, and I think the Bears would keep real grass with the new stadium, and even like really, if you think about Detroit, the systems are so good now they can grow the natural grass in a dome stadium. So Atlanta does that. Atlanta's a natural grass stadium in that dome. So it's not like it was back in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s where you think of a dome, it has to be turf. They're putting natural grass in these stadiums.
Mm-hmm. Less turf toe.
Yeah, less turf injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because all these high schools are trying to put turf in now.
My old high school, they added a turf on the outside. I was like, holy shit. Yeah, so.
I prefer the grass as well, natural grass. I think the Bears going to Arlington makes sense, though. I mean, look at 80% of the season ticket holders live in the northwest suburbs. So from that aspect, it's good. Hell, Cole Kmet's parents can walk to the game. They live in Arlington. It's closer to O'Hare. It's actually closer to hotels than Soldier Field is. It's right off I-90 and 53, which is an interstate in Chicago. It's one of those state roads that's built like an interstate.
No.
The Metro.
We don't have an international game, and the thing about the Vikings, they play back-to-back weeks in different countries. Their next week is a bye.
Yeah, with those two games too, like being in Dublin and London, I mean, you're talking about a 2-hour plane ride. It's like going from Green Bay to Chicago between weeks, and they're going to just stay in Europe anyway. They'll pick a location in either England or in Ireland, and they'll stay there for the whole 2 weeks and just travel into the games. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they do. They'll have a home base of operations and just work out of there. So, yeah, no international games for the Bears this year. I hope that we break ground on a new stadium this year, Woody, because it'll take at least 2 years to build. I mean, this has been, 3-year process now since we bought the property. I just wish they would do something. I love Soldier Field for a lot of reasons. I hope they just build a stadium in Arlington. That would mean they don't have to tear down any part of Soldier Field at all. And the city can still use it to do things. Maybe they put a UFL team in there. Maybe they convince the Bengals to move from Cincinnati. I don't know. Yeah, but they'll be there for 2 weeks, though. So, maybe for the first game, but not as much for the second game because it's the same time zone. It'll be the same time zone for them. So, week 1, they'll have the same problem as whoever they're facing in week 1, but week 2, they probably have a little bit of an advantage because they've already been over there for a week or 2 weeks. So, they'll have a little bit of an advantage. And then they come home with the bye. I think that they'll be fine. Minnesota will be fine. I don't think it's a problem the way the NFL did their schedule with the back-to-back international games. They're the first team in NFL history to play in 2 different countries in 2 weeks. But it's not like they're going from Sao Paulo to London. They're relatively close. Then the bye week. I really don't think that it's going to hurt them. It's not like they're flying back and forth. I think they'll be fine.
Well, I'm glad I get to after a total of 31 Bears games in my life, I get to finally go out this year.
Yeah, you're going to enjoy it. Soldier Field's beautiful inside. It looks funny from the outside. It looks like a spaceship landed in Soldier Field.
Yeah,
but inside,
ticket prices were.
Yeah, it's pretty nice inside. I went to old Soldier Field. Obviously, I've been to the new version. I prefer old Soldier Field for a lot of reasons, but it's nice what they did in the inside. It was nice.
I'm sitting right above Billy.
Oh, geez. I think Brazil. No, it wasn't the fact that it was a soccer field. It was the fact that they played in Brazil in winter, and when the equipment managers went out there to check cleats, it was during the day. The sun was out. At night, as it chilled and the dew formed, they didn't wear the right studs. They didn't have the right cleats with them. I think that was a learning experience for the NFL. I think the playing surface was fine. A soccer field's no more slippery than a football field. It was just they didn't have the right studs on their cleats. I think that was the issue. So I think the Chiefs and Chargers learned from that. Every NFL team learned from that. I don't think you see that issue in Sao Paulo this year. I think that was a learning curve for the Packers and the Eagles last year. None of them had the right cleats. It wasn't the field. NFL fans will say, "Oh, it was a soccer field." Dude, I'm sorry. Those soccer fields are maintained probably better than most NFL franchises. So it wasn't the field. It was the equipment they were using. Next season, I don't know. It depends. I think the possibility is there.
I can tell them right now what they are.
Look at going to week 1 was cheaper than week 2. To be up in the nosebleeds for Monday Night Football is going to be almost like $400. And for week 3, 2 tickets just cost Woody over $1,000 in the nosebleed.
No, it's section 249.
Yeah, we were looking in the 3s and 400s, and it was like $500. Tickets are super expensive in Chicago right now.
Yep,
super expensive. Hey, before we run out of time, don't want to forget, come back and see us on Wednesday. We'll have another Halas Hall with myself and Woody, 2 guys who don't have an opinion on anything. Maybe we'll get one of the mics for Broski to be here. Yeah, good luck with that. Hey, contact Woody, and we got a way to hook you up. In fact, I talked to our boy on the chat the other day because I had an account issue. We were talking about you, Woody. So I've been telling him we've been sending.
Avion.
Yeah, we talked to him. So talk to Woody. He'll hook you up. Yep. We got I don't miss a game. Woody doesn't miss a game. Woody can hook you up. Good service there. We'll be back Wednesday for Halas Hall. Don't forget, Monday through Friday, we've got Ken and Ken in the morning, every day at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. on the East. We'll be back Wednesday. Hopefully, we'll see some movement, maybe some signings, maybe some extensions. We'll see. It's that part of the year. It's going to be kind of quiet. Military discount. Hey, us military guys, always look for those discounts. There isn't one for this service, but it's so damn cheap, you don't need it.
No.
I have 3 TV lines I pay $40 a month for, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah, Brent, if you get Facebook, private message me, and I'll give you all the options. Yep.
So if you go to Woody. I mean, I'll tell you, it's a great service. I've had it for over 2 years. I use it every day. Don't do that. Go Pack Go. I'm telling you, contact Woody. Our guy will hook you up. Forget pay. You're not even look at. You can get all your TV needs for under $50 a month. That's all I'll say.
Yep.
And
everything.
I get every sporting event known to man.
And it's legal.
And it's legal. And we'll get you hooked up. Great way to watch the Bears, the Vikings, the Packers, whoever you watch. So don't forget to enjoy. How do you contact Woody? Woody, give him your Facebook profile so I can get you, or you can contact me and I can contact you, Woody. At Ken the Bear Fan on X, or you can go to Woody on Facebook.
Yep, Woody Bear Down is my page, or Woody Frank Gangemi is my profile.
Yep, or go to Mike the Bear Fan and put a message on there, and we'll get to you that way. If you're watching on Mike the Bear Fan. But yeah, get in contact with Woody. Everyone, have a great Memorial Day. Please remember those who never made it home, who paid the ultimate price so we could do stuff like this and stuff we love every day. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, remembering the fallen. And we will see you right back here on Monday, Ken and Ken in the morning, and next Wednesday for another Halas Hall Report. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Bear down.